My name is Gregory Papanikos, and I'm the president of this, what we call Athens Institute for Education and Research. We have though a subtitle, a sub-name, which we call it a World Association of Academics and Researchers. And actually that's what we are. The reason that we call it institute is because when we formed this Atiner in Toronto, in Canada, there were some members and friends that they said it's very difficult to get sabbatical or research grants when we call ourselves an association. So it's better if we call it an institute. And it worked out pretty well because some people, they were able to get their sabbatical. We provide them with office space, with internet. Now, that explains why the name is an institute and not an association. We've been around for 25 years, and our idea, as Professor Papas, our vice president, will explain more formally, our idea is an old one. And it started 2,500 years ago, just 500 meters up away from here, and it's copy-paste from those that they don't know, but from an ancient Greek Athenian symposium that the proceedings were edited and published. I don't know the publishing house, I know the editor was Plato. And Plato wrote those proceedings, actually, those dialogues, and selected the best papers, had about 18, put in his, that's true what I'm saying, just a lot of people do not know that. And he selected 9 papers, so to speak, and he published that book that is called Symposium. And now the word symposium is synonymous with conferences getting together and people have meetings. Of course, there is another, for those that are interested in politics, there was another symposium in 430s, I think, that took place in Piraeus. That was the venue, not in downtown Athens, and resulted to a well-known book called Republic, or Politia. So what we did, we copy-paste, we say that was a good idea, 2,500 years, we copy-paste exactly the model that they used. And when I say copy-paste, the logistics, how it was organized, and adjusted for the modern ethics, because those that they don't know, those symposiums were not restricted only to academic endeavors. They had other things as well. Of course, they had booze, they had drink. That's why it's called symposium. They were drinking together. And at the same time, they were philosophizing. So this idea, when we said we'll do something in Athens, we say we have to have a vision, we have to have a statement, a mission. And that was the mission. This has resulted first to small gatherings. That's why when we grow, an event grows, we chopped it and we organize another one. And this is the reason why you see so many events taking place. Actually, all of them, they are small events. The optimal number in ancient times was 24. So 24 to 40, actually. So that's what they found. And of course, in organizing ancient symposiums, they had the same problem that we have today, as Professor Papas will explain, citing the ancient sources. One of the problems, of course, that was Socrates complained that the chair never kept the time. They had a time manager. So he was complaining to Protagoras, actually, and he said, you know, he talks too much, and I don't have time left for me to talk. So we have the same problem here, and we select some chairs, but we don't like our chairs to have a voice and create noise during their session that they chair. So the chair should be administration. So we don't have some Socrates here that will complain that he's no time left for him to present. So that's one thing. So we do follow the rules. If you are a chair at this session and any of the sessions of the conference, please make sure that you follow the rules and be a time manager. If you cannot do that, there's always the choice we can change, because we cannot change you, how you think and how you behave, but we can replace you as a chair. So that's another copy-paste model from ancient times. Now we have another problem here that it has to do with the use of language. I'm just mentioning some problems so you can be prepared mentally at least and enjoy the conference. Now, as we say, but very few people read it, the choice of the English language is a necessity. Ancient Greek was out of question, modern Greek out of question, Latin, of course, a dead language, out of question. So we had to find a language that everybody understands. Now, so we chose English without, of course, accepting any political, social, whatever connotation might be implied by the use of English language. This is very important to remember, especially those that they don't speak other than English. And there are many people that they are unilingual. I don't want to say they joke again, because some people they get upset. They say those people that they speak 3 languages, they are trilingual. Those that they speak 2 languages, they are bilingual. And those that they speak 1 language, they are Americans. So Americans, they don't receive this very well. I have some complaints after my presentation. But I don't mean English necessarily. It can be Spanish. Still, they can be unilingual. Or Greek. In New York, for example, when I went in 1980, there were a lot of Greeks there that didn't speak any English. They were unilingual. They spoke only Greek. So living in America doesn't mean that you speak English. You can speak another language. Now, I'm saying that because some people that they don't speak English very well, and we force them to present in English, you have to be very careful when you ask them questions because they don't understand your accent. Especially, I have some people that they speak British English, very few other people understand them, and when they talk to someone that doesn't speak English very well, I don't know why, they use the strangest adjective that you can find in the English vocabulary. Even themselves they don't understand. So use simple language and have the questions at the end, because some people, there was a professor from California early, and he was, I think, Armenian studies was in. And I told him, he was a very nice guy, but you know, he was an English speaker. I told him, don't ask questions. So there was a Korean presenter. I mean, she struggled with her English. You can tell, you don't have to be very smart to understand. Prepare the presentation, everything was perfect, the PowerPoint. And then the guy, because he thought that made a compliment to her, asked an English question. And she was lost. So I told, you know, and then she came to me and said, you were right what you were saying. Go during the break if you see someone struggling with English and ask questions at the break or the social event. Now, another issue, apart from the event that we organized, we were forced to publish. And when I was teaching in Canada, started a long time, 30 years, 40 years ago, usually my first mistake and last was that I was always on time, so I started on time, so you can see why. And I said, you know, I don't want you to be late, but those that they were late, they were not there to hear it. So I learned to say that at the end and not in the beginning. Coming back to the publications, we were forced to publish because otherwise, as the academics say, we will perish. We have a lot of papers coming in, but and a lot of our members, they say we should start journals. So we made the mistake a long time ago to start 15 journals, 1-5. It's a very difficult thing to do. Of course, I knew it and I didn't want to do it, but you see, the reason that we wanted to publish is because that's an easy way to get money from your university so you can come and present at the conference. International, it's a big business publishing. It's a big business. When I say business, I mean money. I don't mean only academic promotion. And all of these private publishing companies, they make a lot of money, even now with the e-journals. And of course, we are independent publishers. It's very difficult. But we build our reputations, and we publish 15 journals, plus the books, plus the paper proceedings, proceedings, plus whatever else. And there is where we need help. If you really like what we are doing, at the end of the day, that means tomorrow, you can join us and help us with reviewing. It's the most important thing, because that's what it will be remembered. Nobody remembers that the symposium, Plato symposium, took place in a small street in a house named by the owner Agathon, which if you go tomorrow, you will see a small street. Nobody remembers all these things, and nobody remembers all the other participants. What they remember is the 8 presentations that were made during that symposium, that were published 30 years after it took place. So this is the important thing about publication. So please, if you have the time, the energy, please do help us with the reviewing. And have said that, begging for reviewing, we have 6,000 people on the, if you go to our conference website, that they are volunteered from 150 different countries to help us with the reviewing. Now, we do have social events like ancient symposiums, Greek night and dinner today and tomorrow respectively. And I don't think I have, we have something else. In each room, you will see, in each room, we have a research assistant, you will see. And outside, we have an administration. Please do not ask the academic members for any information that you want, but the administration and the research. They're here to help you with whatever PowerPoint presentation, find the washroom, buying tickets, or whatever you want to do. They are trained and they have the experience better than me to help you. Without any further ado, I'll call Professor Papas to make a more formal presentation of our association. Professor Papas is one of our vice presidents. So in case that something happens, we'll decapitate them. So nobody undermines the president. You know, when you have many vice presidents, you know, so we can change them.
Well, they can all get together again.
No, I'm not allowed to communicate. And I'm not sure the speaker said mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Atiner conference. As you know, my name is Nicholas Pappas. I am Vice President of Membership, so I'm going to push membership a little bit in this presentation. But I want to tell you something about Atiner, a few quotations from ancient authors, as well as some more information that goes into a little more detail than Gregory told you, okay? This is a famous quotation from Pericles' funeral oration. We're open, our city is open to the world. We never expel a foreigner from learning and seeing. And this was around 440 BC. Remarkable, it was in the middle of a war. And he said we have to keep Athens open and available to people. It's sort of like tourism in many ways in that respect, but also to learn, which is very, very important. Another quotation from Xenophon, or pseudo-Xenophon, depending on whether you believe he's the real person or not. And the other Greeks have pretty much the same dialect, lifestyle and dressing style. But the Athenians have an amalgam of all Greeks and barbarians. In other words, they adopt customs from other people and keep some of their own customs. And in a way, they become open to the rest of the world. And this is important because the term barbarian wasn't necessarily a pejorative term in those days. It meant somebody that didn't speak Greek, basically. Later on, it took on a more pejorative connotation in Hellenistic and Roman times. Here's the one that Plutarch, the Greek biographer and philosopher of the 1st century AD, said about Socrates. He is neither Greek or Athenian, but a citizen of the cosmos. And cosmos can mean world, it can mean universe as well. Remarkable. But who is a Greek or an Athenian? Perhaps Greek you are called because of your common pedagogy, your education, rather than your common descent. It isn't a question of blood or lineage. It's a question of how you have been educated and how you have learned. And of course, Western civilizations and all world civilization has been influenced by what happened here in Athens. So in a way, we're all Greeks. It's important to remember that. That's why Socrates was an orator around the time of Alexander the Great. Now, what is Atiner's mission? Well, Gregory pretty much explained it to you. We are trying to create an organization like Plato's Academy or Aristotle's Lyceum, where academics and researchers from all over the world with a pedagogy similar to ancient Athens can gather in a symposium or symposia meetings to exchange ideas on their research and discuss further developments in their fields or their disciplines. Here's some facts about Atiner. We have about 2,400 members from 116 countries, organized into 37 units, research units, 7 divisions, and 5 centers. It's organized pretty much like a university, in that you have colleges, the 7 colleges and the 37 departments. There'll probably be more, there'll probably be less, it all depends on interest and how things are going. And 5 interdisciplinary independent centers, okay? Now, as Gregory mentioned, 6,000 academics from 150 countries cooperate with us and volunteered to do reviewing for us. And that's very important because we have 15 journals. We come out with about 4, 5, or 6 articles per journal, I think 4 times a year. So that's a big production. So we need that type of work. We also need papers. Submit your papers, please. Work on them, have colleagues look at them, and then we will review them. We have a pretty high rejection rate, but nonetheless, I think it's important that you try, okay? I've been rejected myself for one of the books here, and I took it in stride because I reworked it and I published it elsewhere. So, what the heck? Every year, close to 2,000 researchers and academics present their papers at one of Atiner's conferences or other events. In total, more than 20,000 researchers have come to Athens and presented papers in one or more conferences organized by Atiner since 1995. Now, those of you who go back a little bit, remember that the conferences were somewhat larger. Now we've figured out that the best and most enriching form of conferences are ones that are not large, that they include people from all over the world, and you have a time to discuss things both within the sessions and outside the sessions during coffee and lunch and dinner and so on and so forth. So I think it's very important. Those of you who are familiar with North American conferences and some of the international conferences, there are thousands of people there and you get lost in the crowd. Here you do not. I think that's very, very important. Now, some of the basic activities of the Institute include, of course, the international conferences and symposiums, academic dialogues, public speeches, and roundtable discussions. We also have a Greek section that does section that does this in the Greek language, but most of our work is in English, international. We assist in hosting courses in Athens accredited by other universities, and here are some of the universities that have held studies here. My university had one on the Olympics a number of years ago. We also have autonomous summer courses. If interested, please let us know. We also help people with their research. If you have a research project and you can fund it, ask us and we will provide, more than likely provide you facilities to conduct your research. We have office facilities and internet and so on and so forth. We also host visiting researchers and fellows, as long as they're self-funded. And we've had a number of research projects we've done as well. Publications. Well, the first publication that comes out of this conference is 4 days afterwards. It's basically an abstract book. Now, many people don't consider an abstract book a publication, but in some countries they do. They need an abstract book to show that they've been to the conference and presented their paper. So we published that shortly thereafter. It's online. We also have a conference presentation series. When you present your paper and give it to us, we put it up as a part of a series. We also have one that is based on both submission and reviewing, known as the Online Papers Series. And there we go through the ones that we have done and pick the best and place them there. Now, what happens is that editors of journals, as well as for books, look through these papers and find the ones that might suit them the best in terms of their publications. And they will start doing work on them. First, going through an editing process on their own, and then sending it out to external reviewers. What was I going to say about that? That's one other thing. They sort of cherry pick, let's put it that way, those that look the best. And we also have a book series. I've contributed to that. They're collections of essays presented at certain conferences. I've done ones for history, education, and Mediterranean studies. And we have something like 200 of these books out. Some are in hard copy, some are in soft copy. We're moving in the direction of internet, okay, pretty much. And of course, we have the 15 e-journals, and these are the most, how would you say, refereed of them all, in terms that we're going through a strict referee process. Acceptance rate was less than 20%. The denominator means better papers. So we're looking forward to your papers, and we're looking forward to you perhaps helping us with reviewing other papers in your fields. Go on to Atiner's webpage and you'll see the variety of journals we have, okay? Get involved. Become a member. In fact, most of you are already members because you registered and probably filled out a membership form. That is good for this year, and for a slight fee, you can continue that membership or renew it when you come back, whatever seems the best. As a member, you have the right to organize a stream. A stream is a theme within a conference, maybe several papers within a conference. You can organize a panel or a session with several speakers, you would chair, for one of our future conferences. This is very, very good because it helps you meet people in your field, your specific field, and get together with them. Also, it helps us because we don't have to sit there and put disparate papers together into panels. So it's a great idea. You can review and submit papers for publication. Our journals are open to outside publications. You don't have to present your paper at a conference in order to submit a paper in a journal. So if you know friends that are good in their field, they want to publish, tell them about our journals. You can also organize a summer or visiting course with us. And you can suggest something else, depending on if you have the money and the time to implement it. So we're open to any suggestions you might have. Now let me talk a little bit about paper presentations. They're 15 minutes maximum. I will be at the table. It looks like I'm going to be the first chair, even though there's somebody else there. They haven't shown up yet, so I'm going to be the first chair. And I'll keep time. And when you approach 3 minutes, I will put up a little sign there. Keep an eye. And then I will give you another couple of minutes, and I'll put up the 1 minute sign. See if you can finish up by then. Most of you have timed you've been very good. You've timed your presentation. So this is very important. So each of us has a chance to talk formally, and we'll have time at the end for questions, and discussions will happen after all papers have been presented. We don't have questions between papers because we can get stuck on that. And as Dr. Papanikos mentioned, some people have limited English and we don't want to sit there and have debates here. We want questions and answers, okay? You can have debates if we have enough time, and if you can carry them out into the coffee room when you need to. Chairpersons, as I mentioned, will use a 3-minute, 1-minute reminder. And here's a quotation from Protagoras that he was mentioning. Elected judge, Rav Vuklon. Rav Vuklon was somebody that carried a stick. And if those of you familiar with the ancient Olympics, if you had a cheater in the Olympics, he'd beat you with a stick. Well, I'm not going to beat you with a stick, but I might use it to take you off the stage. Who's to say? Or a chairperson, a prostani, pritanin, or a epistatin, a foreperson. So you can keep the length of each one's speech short, 15 minutes. For technical assistance, if you have any issues with regard to your PowerPoint or other materials, please contact our administrative representative, our research assistant in this room, okay? There are more than just paper presentations at this conference. We also have, the first evening we have Greek Night, which is a wonderful event. We hold it at the Hellenic American Union, which is within walking distance of here. It's a little bit uphill, but not too bad. It includes a very nice meal, a wonderful view of Athens and the Acropolis by night, and it has dancing by a folkloric troupe as well as dancing by the group as well. They will drag you onto the dance floor and you will get along doing Greek line dances. We also have a dinner which is a little less noisy, and it's a good time to discuss how the conference went for you all. And that will be at the same place but in a more humble location, let's put it that way. We also have tomorrow morning the Urban Walk. The Urban Walk is presented by Professor Gregory Kadzas of DeRay College, Department of Sociology. And he gives you a 3-hour tour. Isn't that Captain Gilligan's Island? He has a 3-hour tour of Athens. He takes you to most of the major locations in Athens, both modern and ancient, and gives you his view of it. It's quite a good, and we have it in the morning, so we won't have the summer heat. So take advantage of it if you can. And of course, after the formal conference, we have a number of tours. There can be an island tour. There's been some difficulty with island tours this year because of strikes and so on and so forth. So what we have is an alternative tour in which you visit the ancient site of Mycenae, and as a portion of that, you can visit the island of Poros, which is right off the coast. And there can be, and there have been, tours of ancient Corinth, Cape Sunio, not too far from here, and Delphi, the great ancient cult center of Delphi. So those are some of the events we have extracurricular, let's put it that way. Enjoy the conference. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.